All right, everybody, welcome back to another Survivor Grand Rapids Bad Blood podcast. Today, we are recapping our finale again with a new finalist from our final six. We've done two so far with Carrie and Luke, and we have our third podcast to recap their season, as well as that finale, get a little bit of dirt on everything behind the scenes for their game. And we got a big one for you guys today. Our first two-time player will be joining us to give a little bit of lowdown on her experience. Should go without saying, we will be talking spoilers for the entire season. So you're fair warning right now, but without further ado, let us welcome our two-time returning player, Final Four Fallen Angel, Zoe. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm so excited.
It's so nice to have you. Yeah, so nice to have you here, Zoe. We haven't seen each other since March, so this is kind of our touch base catch up, so the audience can get a little insight on that too. What have you been up to since the game? And we'll start with the game, and then we can go into since March. What have you been up to since 2023 summer?
Well, basically still working in a school. Luckily, I've had my summers off, which has been nice, so I'm enjoying that. I moved to Royal Oak. I don't know if I said that before, so I live in an apartment. I've lived in two different houses since then, kind of in the same neighborhood. And yeah, I mean, the biggest one is that I got engaged.
What?
Yeah.
Nice. Congrats, Zoe. And
Adrian and I are getting married.
Yeah, are not the first bad blood couple to get the ring on the finger since that summer, but big development for you. For how long have you guys been dating?
So to this date, we've been together 5.5 years. Well, actually closer to 6 years.
Okay.
Wow.
We won't do the math on that. We won't make you calculate it.
Yeah, so. No one's counting.
Yeah. How did he do it?
So actually it was just a few weeks ago, Memorial Day weekend. We were camping. We like to camp during Memorial Day because it's also my birthday weekend.
Okay.
So it was nothing crazy. I didn't expect anything. We always go camping. But one of the nights we were getting ready to go out to dinner, and he had just set up a camera and popped the question as we were showing each other our outfits. I was like, oh my gosh. I went through every stage of emotion during it too. I was crying and screaming and in disbelief.
So we saw Adrian be a little sneaky, during his game, keeping maybe sharing some secrets he shouldn't have. Were you blindsided by it?
Major blindside. Yep. I didn't. I thought that I could pick up on sneaky snake behavior. I had no idea. And it turns out everybody in my life, not just Adrian, was being sneaky about it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean,
no idea.
I'm guilty too. I knew about it. So hopefully I'm glad that it went off without a hitch, because I was very excited to hear the news and excited for your guys' future. That's so exciting. So we'll see, how that ring holds up if we ever were to bring you back and play.
I know she's hardy, so she'll last elements, I think.
Yeah, it might weigh you down a little bit in some of those
right.
Gotta be careful.
That hand will be dragging.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Zoe. We will hop into our season review of your game. It is quite the epic game. Out of our finalists, I feel like everybody played a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like your story was very much all encompassing of almost every aspect of the an episode. You had something going on, at least with you, that impacted the game. So we can dive into that. But first, I mean, you were one of our first returnees, or one of the returnees from Fresh Meat coming back. So when we called you up for Bad Blood, what was it like getting that call, and or text, I didn't actually call you, but what was it like getting that text and, asking you to return?
Oh, I was so excited. I felt like I had so many ideas after playing the first round where I was like, "Oh, like in this case I should have done this," and like I had so many like not regrets, but like areas where I knew I could have done so much better if I just had like I don't know, a different mindset going into it. So I was ready to like put all of the skills into action and to do it again. I think in between too, I had actually watched a lot more like Survivor seasons.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, there's like a lot of strategy behind this. So I was ready to like put that into place.
Yeah. Did you come in with like a game plan that you were going to do, or was it more like on the fly, like this is the situation, these are the cards that I was dealt, this is what I'm going, like this is what I think is best to do? Or did you, were you adapting on the fly, or was it, pre-game established, this is how I'm going to play?
Yeah, I think at first I was like, I did come in with like some idea that I wanted to be a lot more strategic, but my strategy was mostly just to um be aware of everybody's game
Mhm.
because that's something I lacked a lot the first time. Like I was like tunnel vision on just like what I was doing, but my like biggest strategy was to like talk to everyone, see what everyone was thinking and like try to be a little bit in every alliance, which I think I did pretty
Mhm.
well. I usually knew what was going on. Yeah. So
That's
that was the one thing I was trying to do more is to just, like, be aware of the entire game and not just my own.
That's a really good observation, and I think a good lesson to learn from your first time around. It's really hard
Mhm,
to master on your first go in a game of being aware of everybody else's game, especially in a backyard survivor, because I feel like with those, you're focused on your game, you might not know the dynamics of survivor, but also like some of these other people don't know like what game they're playing, or like
mhm.
what they're doing. So being able to keep tabs on that, I think, is a big kudos to, at least a good mindset to come in of awareness. So I guess the other curveball that we threw you, because all the blood bonds knew that we were going to have partners, or that you would at least be partnered up with a person in the game. And in this
Mhm.
case, it was now fiance Adrian. So knowing that Adrian was playing, did you, like, I guess, what was that game plan like for you? Or were you just like, you're on your own, like, good luck?
I kind I kind of knew that Adrian had very little to actually know survivor knowledge or experience, so I kind of had a feeling I was gonna be doing a lot on my own, but
Yeah.
I did know that he was going to be pretty loyal to me and I would be to him too. So it was kind of nice to know like I had someone like a guaranteed like partnership,
Yeah.
but yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be a huge strategic benefit for me just cuz I couldn't trust that he would be like playing it super well.
Yeah.
Outside of like probably just his social relationships, which is kind of what happened. So,
I think, I mean, we'll go into Adrian's, like, not dwell on Adrian. Obviously, we're going over your game, but like seeing everything back, like he made some things happen with like Grace, like getting
uh-huh.
Grace out, but for the most part, you're right. Like he was very well socially connected. Like try to play the strategic game to some success, right? Like finding the alliances and navigating things. It really was, and his exit episode was just a 30-second Tyler Mafia move of flipping the numbers onto him. So I think Adrian definitely was in a solid spot. It would have been interesting to see you two link up and how that game was going to go, because I think you two were playing very opposite games of, you were putting your neck on the line, and he seemed to be moving more with like a group, it felt like.
Mhm.
So yeah, I do think Adrian, to his credit, I think, you know, he did better than I thought he was going to do. I think we were on the same page, Zoe, of how Adrian would come in and play. But I mean, the finesser did have some finesses on his resume there. But yeah, starting off, everybody, you find out that everybody else is going to be playing in a pair. Were you expecting that, or was it how was that twist opening up?
Yeah, no, that was definitely a surprise. You kind of had to just like figure it out as like it happened. Like, oh, what is this gonna mean? Like everyone has someone that they could potentially like be a pair forever. And like pairs in Survivor are pretty like crucial sometimes. So knowing that knowing that everybody had a pair is like, I don't know. It made it super interesting and something that you have to like adjust to right away. Like, oh my gosh.
And then you are victim of the second twist that we did of the first vote out of somebody being sent to Exile Island. So what was your thoughts on that? Because that was a really insane way to start. That was a gut punch to me as a host, because I was like, we're bringing Zoe back, you know, and she's the first. I knew that you weren't going home, but like me as the host did. But you know, that's never a good spot to see somebody, you know, be on the bottom like that, kind of, or allegedly on the bottom, you know. What was your thought with that?
So, I mean, I had a feeling you were going to pull out like a crazy twist pretty early on, but I did not think it was going to be that early. And deep down, I was hoping so much that first like round of elimination right away would lead to some type of advantage. So secretly, I wasn't super upset, except for at like then realizing like, oh, they really all just voted me out, especially some people that like I was friends with. And I was like, oh, what it actually meant, like when looking at everyone, was kind of a bummer. But I did know that like something good could have come out of it. And it did for the most part. Like I was excited to be part of like the twist in the very first Exile. It kind of helped coming back from Exile, not having anyone know what it was about too. So.
Yeah, you had some good info from that. And you were on the winning tribe to give yourself a little bit of footing. We saw the opposite end of that with Chase. So,
it did work out for me.
But you I mean, yeah, you really took advantage of that first round. I remember them telling me, you know, Zoe found the idol and that kind of stuff. So that was exciting to hear from the producing side of things. But question for you, kind of not, we'll come circle back to, you know, you going to Exile and the repercussions of all of that. But you played in Fresh Meat, and Fresh Meat was our coming back from, you know, Survivor Dearborn. Some people played like the day-long drinking ones that we had. Some people, you know, were either fans of the show, like Mark, who flew in, or, you know, we had a wide variety of people. What was it like with this Bad Blood group? Like, I guess, what was the difference between the type of players that you know, entered Fresh Meat with and the type of players that you entered Bad Blood with? Could you sense like a difference?
Honestly, I kind of came in with the same feeling of like everyone, I kind of just assumed everyone knew what they were doing both times. So I didn't have a huge like feel of the group as a whole. Besides like, oh, I need to step up my game because these people seem like they know what they're doing. And then it turned out that some people more or less actually did, but that was my mindset both times. Like I was pretty nervous.
Yeah. I feel like you, like when we're comparing Hannah and you, like returning games, like Hannah had a very different, like at least start to the game. Both of you blew away your, you know, your previous game and definitely improved upon it. But like, I felt like you kind of had a similar Ionia tribe vibe of like, we won a lot. We had the front porch. And instead of you like chilling, like you kind of took that, you know, maybe took some notes from Mark, took some notes from some other players of going out and seeking out those conversations. So I guess, yeah, was that intentional with that? Was that something that you wanted to do, or was that just the speed of the game that you came back to from Exile?
No, that was very intentional. I think the first time I was just in an alliance, Mark mostly and his kind of group, but I feel like he was leading it more. So I kind of let him do, you know, the talking and the gathering of information, and let him kind of play. And I would just like, you know, ride his coattails. But the second time around, I was like, all right, I for myself need to know what's going on, like be in these conversations, make these alliances early on, like let people know I'm here to play, and that I'm going to be doing it, you know,
So
leading
you,
it myself.
yeah, you entered the game and you knew Adrian obviously, and you're part of like the Grand Rapids group, but like not like, I guess, could you describe the people that you were like really close with and those that might be more acquaintances or friends of friends? Like, I guess who did you really want to play with on OG Vengeance?
Yeah. So I knew of probably most people, just like through hanging out and especially through Grand Rapids. I think I would say I was the closest with Magingo and Tyler. I'm trying to remember who was on that OG team, but and then Josh as well.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, these people like I know very well. Magingo and I hit it off really well at first. So I was kind of thinking, even though she did vote me out, I was just thinking like her and I were going to be strong together. Just because we like got along. But I was down to be in a little Grand Rapids group early on, just because
Mhm.
I knew those guys, and yeah. And then I knew that that could also help whenever there was a merge, because there was a lot of people on um, the other team who we could all like link up and really be a strong group together. So I was kind of thinking of who I could align myself with first that would help me later in the game.
Mhm.
Um, so that was kind of my strategy at that point.
Yeah. Was there any like new connections that you made on Vengeance that, you know, that weren't a part of the Grand Rapids people? Like, was there, I mean, like you have like Luke, you have uh Brooklyn, maybe Brooklyn's from GR, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I guess who
Yeah.
from the OG tribe that you really connected with and you're like, we can use this later.
You know, I think I had a good connection with everybody on that team. I would say the Grand Rapids was like mostly who I was trying to align with, but I talked to everyone, and I was just it really worked out nicely that we won so many challenges that we didn't have to
Mhm.
super talk strategy, and it was a lot of just getting to know each other. I think there was one point where John came onto our team.
Yes.
um, there was like a swap, or I can't
He
remember why
he got
that happened.
voted out of you guys lost the anti-reward or they lost the anti-reward challenge, and then they all had to vote somebody out, and then I was
Mhm.
like, ooh, they're actually going over to Vengeance. And so they got sent over, he got sent over to you guys.
So that I feel like I started to get close with John then,
Yeah.
which was helpful then in the long run, which I didn't know. I was just trying to get to know everyone, not really for any like gain in the long run, but it did help with some of those connections.
You got messy early on with having to figure out like the whole idol situation. Like Chase, you have to basically exchange that idol with Chase, and we see
Mhm.
that at Exile Island, where you guys decide that that's what you're going to do. Chase doesn't have his idol. You found yours pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Chase, you know, shows up to the next challenge and nothing's there. And then to add insult to injury, like we have to send Carrie and Josie out to Exile. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out about the idol. Like you were worried about that narrative too. So like there were so many layers to this idol that information that you were sharing with allies was either getting misinterpreted.
Mhm.
Like I thought it was so funny watching, or it was miserable to edit, but it's so funny to see like how you're like, yeah, like so basically in order to activate the idol, I have to give it to the other tribe. And that turns into like Zoe can only play this idol for the other tribe. It's like no. So
Yeah, it's very confusing. I like oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, what was that like? Walk us through like your
Mhm.
um it was just an extra task that you had to do in the game that nobody else really had to navigate. So I guess once like walk us through from like seeing Chase being gone to the
Mhm.
point where you get Adrian the idol, you know, walk us through that whole plan that you had.
Oh my gosh. So I think this, like, just having it and the whole plan, like, was weighing on my mind almost 24/7. And I'm trying to remember the specific timeline, but like, I remember being at Exile and telling Chase, like, we have to make this work perfectly because this could be insane and this could be like so good. So, I feel like I was like really trying to give him like step by step instructions so that it would work perfectly. And then I find the idol pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Um, I come up with this like lie to my tribe, which I thought I pulled off really well.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like I was acting all cool, like giving my story, but a lot of them thought I was lying.
Whew, you were like, phew, I just got back from exile. I need some water, and you just like go down there, and that's a like you and Hannah really played up the like, well, we haven't really played before. We kind of sucked on I
Mhm.
did fine on your first one, but we made some mistakes on our first one, and like that one when you came back from exile and you were like, oh, I need some water. Like I'll be right back, and I'll tell everybody about it. Hang tight up here, and like you just go down, find your idol, come back, and you're like,
Yeah, that was like so
that was
crazy.
veteran. That was a veteran move. So kudos to you there. But yes,
Thanks.
sorry to interrupt.
So,
Pick up where telling your tribe about the little lie that you told.
yeah, so I was using my knowledge from Real Survivor, like what usually happens on Exile, there's usually a challenge, blah, blah, blah. We didn't really have a challenge. We
Mhm.
just got like information right away. So I was like, okay, like what's mostly realistic? And then I just made that up. Thank goodness that's actually how Exile ended up happening throughout the season. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, every time people would go, they would have to do a challenge to get an advantage. And I just made up some puzzle like excuse, I think, when I got back. And then made it seem like I didn't win anything. Um, but yeah, I really thought I didn't realize in the actual game that people were kind of onto me.
Mhm.
I noticed like during when the season like aired that in people's confessionals a lot of people were suspicious of me. I think specifically Luke.
Yeah.
Um, he was suspicious of a lot of people throughout the time, more than I thought that he ever was. Yeah, that's like another story. But yeah, and then there was and then the next challenge, I was like, perfect. I found my idol so fast. Chase probably found his so fast. And I kept like inching closer to him during like the challenge part so that we could easily swap them. No one would even know. And then we would have idols to use as we pleased. And that didn't end up happening. So that's when panic started to come up. And I was like, the only thing is I have to give it to either Hannah or Adrian. Like those were my two people that I wanted to, because I had to activate it through the other side. So I was like, I had it in my pocket at all times. I think like in the waistband of my pants. And during the one challenge,
The water slide
the
one.
water slide challenge, I somehow avoided going on it the entire time. Um, I sat out. I never had to get wet or slide on that thing because I had the idol in my pocket and I needed to make sure that like the ink on the paper didn't get smudged because I wanted to give it to somebody during that challenge, and they had to know like the situation of like
Yeah.
how to be activated, whatever. So I kept like looking for people's shoes that whole time. Like as people were slipping and sliding, I wasn't paying attention to that challenge at all. I was trying to figure out which ones were Adrian or Hannah's shoes so I could slip it in. And I never got the chance to do that either. So there was just like all these little times that I was thinking I needed to do something with it, and it took up a lot of my brain space during that part of the game. But then during that swap, I ended up handing it to Adrian, and I was like, I don't think you got that on camera, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did.
It was pretty great because it was like right after you won immunity. So I like give you the necklace, and then like I'm doing my whole spiel of like, oh yeah, like you guys are both going to tribal council tonight, and then I do go into the like, but like one massive tribal, but like in between all of that, like you're nudging him and you're like you like tap his foot and like he sticks out his hand and like you hand it over. And I was like, when I watched that, we didn't get on camera when he gave it back to you.
Okay, yeah.
We didn't get that one, but yes, we got the OG swap, which was
I'm remembering, I know that was like so stressful. And I'm remembering too, Magingo was in on it, I think. Yep. And she later told me, and I don't know if this was on camera, but like Adrian and I were trying to talk, but like Magingo was trying to make it seem like Zoe, stop talking, like making it. Yeah. She was trying to make it seem like don't fraternize with the enemy, whatever. But she was doing that a little bit too extreme, and I was like, it's okay, like we can fraternize. Like it was just a chaotic time, but it ended up working out. So
it was funny. I don't remember if it made the cut or not, but you do like one confessional where like you're like, I've been trying to give this idol to Adrian, and he keeps going like, no, like he's just like, I can't talk to you. You're the other child.
Like, him and Magingo were like overly trying not to like talk with the other team when like I needed that to be our strategy and have it be like really low key, but it was really funny.
It was, yeah. But eventually, like I think you end up, I don't really remember. I think you end up telling Josh, or you tell Josh about your idol, and then he turns and tells Tyler, who tells Eli, who tells all like wrong, like kind of right, kind of wrong information. And then like talk us through that. Like once that information blew up within your alliance, like where were you at headspace wise in the game?
Yeah, I was just like happy to be honest at that point. I didn't want to have like something looming on my shoulders, but what I didn't know at the time was that the story was getting misconstrued and people were kind of getting wrong information, and then it kind of did look worse on my part, even though like the whole time I was like, oh, I'm just being honest, like phew, now everyone will trust me and everything will be good. But it kind of did start to put more of a target on my back. And yeah, something I didn't know too was like what Adrian was telling people on the other side and what people over there kind of were figuring out about the idol. I think I ended up finding that out after we merged. But
the footage I had, he didn't tell a single person about it. So like you gave it to him, he kept it, and then gave it back to you the next morning. Like that was.
And did he tell people after he gave it back to me?
No. So what ended up happening was you gave Adrian the idol, and because I mean, yeah, this is where the season was miserable to edit, because it would be like you would do something which was caught on camera, everything was right, and then somewhere a conversation happened that like was just wrong, and then like information would be used as fact, as possible. So what ended up happening was you gave Adrian the idol, and then like the next morning, like you're having a conversation, like and then like I think you're like, nope, I gave it to Adrian, it's activated. Like you tell John that, and then I think that ended up getting around, so everybody was like, Adrian has the idol, and then Adrian swaps it back to you, and nobody knew that. So you had that idol. Nobody knew that you had that idol. And then while Adrian was over on the new Vengeance tribe with Tyler, Allie, John, Eli, like Tyler's like, Adrian has this idol. Like we're like, and then Allie's like, I can't trust Adrian. Carrie supposedly gave Josie an idol. Like that made her help turn on OG Vendetta. So it was a whole string of just misinformation. But, you know, ultimately, I think Tyler probably made a right move because I think Adrian was going to go over to you. And I we'll get to that of like your you know, relationship with Tyler. But I guess let's hop right into that. So it seemed like Tyler, like you were working well with Tyler. Like he seemed like a really good strategic person to bounce ideas off of. You went to, especially at that joint tribal, you go over to him and, you know, you're like, I think I know what you want to do, which was potentially blindside Josie at that tribal. Like, yeah, what was that relationship like with Tyler, especially on day one? And then maybe like tease us with a little bit of like what ended, like how you might have entered day two with Tyler.
Yeah. So, okay, that joint tribal was like the last thing that happened on the first day, right? Okay, yeah. So I think like leading up to that, we didn't go to tribal council. So really like we were riding a high on that team for like a long time. And we were really just like getting close with each other. But Tyler, kind of Josh too, kind of a little bit of everyone like behind the scenes was trying to strategize so hard, especially after Josie came back with her like story. Like nobody knew what to believe. And the way I like think back to that first day playing with Tyler was like just like this like big tornado. Well, it like started at the bottom and then it just became this like huge spiral. Like he kept like having all these like crazy ideas and all of these like strategies and talking with everyone, and it just felt like a lot, but also he had like good ideas and was on the right track, so it was like it made sense to work with him. And then we wanted to blindside Josie just because we really didn't trust her because of the exile situation. And I really wanted to like play up her exile lies so that like mine maybe wouldn't resurface and people would not think of mine ever again. But yeah, I think it ended up making a big riff on our team because we had to come back after that joint tribal where we were about to get out Josie. But wait, what was the result of that big tribal?
James. So
James. Okay.
So they all get up and they, you know, the tribe gets up and like basically tries to get you guys to vote with them. And then majority of you guys vote with them. And Josie plays the idol that she got from Carrie, nullifying all the votes. Meanwhile, Tyler like thinks that he's on the chopping block and tries to vote for Magingo. And then meanwhile, Luke is trying to be like, they're all voting out like the brothers and sisters and couples aren't going to flip on each other. We got to strike. And then meanwhile, you have the other people that are just like on OG Vengeance that are just like, we're just going to vote with James for James. That was the original plan. So that was great. So
after that,
favorites, but definitely the culmination of a lot. But yes,
it was the culmination of a lot. And like, that was just so hectic and there were so many things happening. When we got back to our like front porch, we ended up kind of talking it out, and it just like people weren't believing each other. There was a lot of bad blood like within our team after that. And so it made like, it made trust feel kind of weird. Yeah. But still Tyler was kind of like the ringleader. So it was kind of just like felt like going with him was kind of the move, but that was like the peak of his like spiral tornado. So maybe not even the peak. It was like getting up there though. So
then you end up swapping like first thing the next morning. You get the idol back from Adrian, and then you guys are on the other tribe with Hannah, Josh, Aubrey.
Mhm.
Samantha McGill,
Mhm.
I think, is with you,
Mhm.
and Luke
Sam.
and
And
boy
Sam.
Sam. Boys,
Yeah.
yeah. So talk us about that swap. How did you feel about that one?
So I was kind of actually I was excited to be with fresh people. But all like honestly, okay, let me think of my words really quick. I was excited to be with people that I hadn't worked with to build new connections, but also kind of have some of the people that I was talking to a little bit more come too. And I was like, this might be my time to like step up and be a leader on the team. Because Tyler had kind of been running the show, like Tyler and Josh, and I feel like their kind of group was running the show before. And I was like, this might be my time to like step away from that and make some moves.
Yeah,
Which I feel like I kind of did.
you
Um,
100% did.
like that was what I was really excited for. It was like Magingo, and I felt like Luke was there, right? Yeah. I
Yeah,
felt like we were working together. He was a little bit like hit or miss. Um, but I felt like I had good trust with Samantha and Sam,
Mhm.
even though like deep down I knew I didn't want to fully work with them and they were kind of like the first ones. Oh, and Brooklyn was there too. Like they
Brooklyn
kind of
was the other one. Brooklyn was second swap.
oh my gosh, that's getting me confused. But I just felt like I had good leverage there to like make some moves.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we talked with Luke last week, I think it was, for his podcast recap, and I mean, he really emphasized like he did not what really feel comfortable working with like the partnerships, like
mhm,
you and Adrian, Hannah and Josh, Tyler and Allie, of course. So I think
mhm.
that was where a lot of hesitation comes, but we also see you like kind of very actively want to work with Luke, or even in that first tribal council, you wanted to save Luke because
Mhm.
it came down to that split between Josh and Luke. And you were, I don't definitely putting in a lot of work to be on the like rally numbers to get Luke out. So I guess, yeah, what was that relationship like with Luke on that second swap tribe?
Yeah, with Luke, it was I feel like we voted together most of the time, but I never felt like watching it back, I never felt like we were fully on the same page while we did like vote together. And then also like our relationship was we would like consult about things and like talk and we'd be like, okay, yeah, but we never would like strategize together. So it always felt like we were together, but like through other people maybe. And it comes to find out, I think it was Aubrey who like would consult with Luke a lot more. And then I would hear like what Aubrey was doing with everything. Like, yeah, we were kind of like always working together, but not directly together. Um, yeah.
I think on that day too, it was more Magingo, and then like as you say, like it was more
Oh,
Aubrey
true.
kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, when you say like you wanted to step up and make those moves, like that
Mhm.
was a massive move going against Josh and that power couple to sway the votes away from Josh and basically take out who was supposedly in your alliance on day one, and Tyler's right hand man. So, um,
Yeah.
how did you feel about that? Like, what was your thought process with getting Josh out? And I guess did you expect the repercussions that it would have on the other tribe when Tyler watching those episodes and seeing Tyler's reaction to it?
Yeah, I can't fully remember what my thought process was, but I think I probably just felt like watching it back, I was like, me and Josh really could have worked better together. And like we really could have made this work a lot stronger. And I think him and I even talked about that like in person off like afterwards. We were like, wow, like I don't really know. I don't know what my thought process was. I think it was mostly that like I could get the votes to get him out. And truly I didn't think at the time like I like his alliance was vital and I didn't really think of the repercussions that would come after. I was just like, this we could probably make work. And also too, like the partnerships, like this they probably were like one of the strongest pairs, I would say, like him
Mhm.
and Hannah, and then like Tyler and Allie. Like you really have to be weary about strong pairs like that. So that probably was like the main motivation.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these episodes aired 2 years ago, maybe because some people can't edit them quick enough.
Oh my gosh, that editor, man.
I know. But yeah, try to think back to seeing like the other tribe, the Vendetta tribe, and how Tyler reacted to that, and even to a point of throwing a challenge so that they can save you guys from exile. So I guess yeah, what was your thoughts with seeing all that go down?
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge move because he really had, like, big alliances on the other side, but truthfully, like, I mean, this might sound bad, but I was like, "This is a good move on my resume," and, like, seeing everyone else, like, get pretty upset about it, I don't remember feeling super bad. I really felt like it was a good move for my own game, so
I agree. I mean, to not to get too analytical about it, but we really saw like when we get our history of Survivor of our show, like
mhm,
our early seasons where like my brother played and a lot of our crew played, like it was my brother's grade friends versus like my up like my grade friends, and
mhm,
that was kind of the dynamics on that. And then for Fresh Meat and for Bad Blood, and especially in Bad Blood, what was brought to the forefront was like Grand Rapids versus Detroit,
mhm.
Cincinnati, whoever's flying in, like to maybe combat each other. And I think with that move, like you really shed a lot of that, Grand Rapids. I'm open to playing with people. I'm open to doing like what I want to do. And I think,
Mhm.
you also kind of freed up Hannah to play that way too. So yeah,
Yeah.
how was that? Did you recognize that of like there's the Grand Rapids group and I don't necessarily identify with it?
Um, I always, like, wanted to have Grand Rapids, like, connections during the game, but I was not, like, super reliant on that, and I didn't wanna be, like, in the, like, this is, like, the Grand Rapids side. Like,
Mhm.
I really wanted to play my own game, and I think coming from my first season, I did not want to be, like, attached to anyone because I really was the first time, like, I ran hard with my alliance, and then I ended up being, like, the bottom of my alliance, and that's kind of how, like, I got out essentially. And so I was really just trying to play my own game and do like what worked best for me. But I do think that vote out for Josh, you're right, it did kind of free up Hannah. And then her and I did end up working together a little bit and really tried to like talk things out more after that. Um, I don't know if in the back of her head she was thinking like, oh, like you got out Josh, but um yeah, it ended up kind of allowing more people to work together and kind of, like, blur those lines a little bit more.
How was your relationship with Hannah? Like we can talk about coming in because you guys were both fresh meat people.
Yeah.
Hannah essentially had to go out because of her back in day one of fresh meat, and then you spent the night and then had to go like got voted out.
Yeah.
Was there any of that like camaraderie with it, or was it just kind of like we're both coming in two separate players? If our paths crosses, like
Mhm.
what was that dynamic like with you and Hannah?
I remember when we, like, first got there before, like, we started actually filming it, we were just both so excited to play again. We're like, "Yes, this is our second chance." We didn't talk, like, strategy or, like, working together at all, but, we were both just very excited, and I think we were just excited for each other, and we were on different teams, like, for the whole beginning of it,
Mhm.
um, but I was excited to play with her just because we both had that experience. Um, and yeah, I think once we ended up on the same because she swapped the second time onto my team, right?
So
Or
she's so yeah.
was that the
Yeah.
merge?
So
Okay.
basically, you guys swapped. You guys voted out Josh, and then you won the next 2 rounds. The new Vengeance tribe voted out Josie, and then they voted out Adrian, like really
Yeah.
quickly. Then you guys thought that you were gonna merge, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, just kidding, we're swapping again. She swapped over to the other tribe, and you guys voted out Brooklyn. Like,
Oh,
well, basically, you and Maginga voted out Brooklyn.
yeah.
And then Carrie, meanwhile, is at exile, wins the tribe swap advantage, and Hannah ends up getting selected to come back over to
Yes.
your
Okay. Yeah. So once she came back over, I was like, we basically we have to work together. And I just really wanted to play with her. I think we would just like make a good team and work well together. And she's just like a good friend and like someone fun to have around. So I was just excited to like have her over there. But
Mhm.
yeah, there was probably some like bad blood with everything that happened and just having to be swapped so many times. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, what Adrian gets out, Tyler puts together a plan within 30 seconds or so after a whole round of deciding between Carrie and Brooklyn, and then Adrian got sniped. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's so funny when his confessional is going, and it's very, if we compare and contrast to when Mark was doing, I don't know if it was Mark, my brother was doing your
Oh,
confessional, and he's like, so like, do you think you're going out? And you're like, no, I think I'm good. And then I think Mark did Adrian's confessional, asked him the same question. He's like, no, I think I'm good. Like, just
that is actually so funny.
so he gets
Realization.
very quick, and it was tough to lose him because Adrian's such a fun personality to have at camp,
Yeah.
and he's also like, I don't know, like somebody that I from a producing standpoint I really like to see play, because
Mhm.
like he doesn't know the game, and it's not like somebody that doesn't know the game that comes in and just kind of like does what people do. Like he
Right.
definitely had a voice and like was playing to the extent that he could.
Yeah.
um, so he gets out. What did you think of that? Like you see him gone, and then on top of that, like, what we'll ask, like, what did you think? And then also we swap again. You get Allie on your tribe, where she's basically saying like, yeah, Tyler's like scared of you, and so we voted out Adrian. Like, what was your mind at, personally losing Adrian, and then also what was your mind at game wise losing Adrian?
Yeah, I felt bad for Adrian because I knew he was, like, having a good time, and I could tell he, like, had his head in the game, and so I did feel bad that he was gonna get out, but also I think both him and I knew he made it farther than we expected, so I was proud of him. I wasn't super, like, emotional or sad that he got out, but also game-wise, I knew in the back of my head it probably was because of me, and just the connection that we had in the idol situation. So yeah, I felt bad about that. And I knew like the second that happened, I knew it was, because of me. Or
And
like with that partnership in mind. So
yeah, and then Allie comes back and basically confirms that. Like, did
yeah.
you feel like you were out for blood? Like, was that when your line got drone officially against Tyler?
I don't know if that was when I was officially like, I'm not with Tyler anymore. I don't think I ever fully felt that. But I could just in general, I could just feel that he was being a really like power player, which is like really intimidating for other people who are trying to be power players. So, just his confidence in the game was kind of like why I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when Allie said that, I didn't feel too much bad blood at the time because I had a feeling. Like I basically knew and I was like, well, okay, I was right about that and we'll just have to do what we got to do. And I was pretty much playing it as my own game too. Like Adrian and I, besides the idol, we didn't really have any time to play together as like a partner in the game, like some other people did. Um, So yeah,
Would you have wanted that?
I don't know. I like try to think about actually playing it with him, and
Yeah.
I don't know how that would have gone. I
It's
really don't.
yeah,
I would want to confide in him, but I feel like I could also see myself being a little bit bossy towards him and be like, "This is what we're gonna do." Don't blah, blah, blah. And like then it would kind of ruin his experience or keep it like. So I think it worked out really well how it
mhm,
did. Um, and yeah, he got to play like his own game, and so did
yeah.
I.
I think that, that's a good way to look at it. I personally was kind of sad for you guys because I as the friend, I knew that you guys were doing distance, and so
Yeah.
at that time, so it was like this is an event that they can do together. But now everything's said and done. Hopefully, you're able to both watch this fondly. Of this is something cool that we were both able to.
Oh,
Yeah.
we 100%. We loved watching it back. We watched most of them together. Um, and yeah, it was really fun to watch it back.
If he were to come back, do you think he's more well versed in the game, or is he still would he still come back and play Adrian's game?
You know what? If he was asked to come back, I would I would train him up pretty good.
Train him up?
I'm gonna show him like Survivor, like the show, and talk him through like why things work. Because I don't he doesn't like pick up on that on his own. He wouldn't like I don't think he's ever watched a true Survivor season all the way through, besides Bad Blood.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
He just needs to like understand the lore and like what Survivor is.
Mhm. So yeah, again, we like going back to Allie kind of spilling all of that. I guess did you see them as enemies at that point? Did you see like the Postmas, or did you like as a group, or did you see like Allie still as kind of like that individual player?
I'm gonna be honest, and I always was weary about Allie because she had this like looming Tyler over her head all the time. Um, I feel like she did try to play her own game, but her like I never really saw her as like, oh, like she could ever be independent from Tyler. Like I could work with her and not have like a string of Tyler attached. So that was kind of that was kind of how I approached her, and maybe that was why we never became super good allies, even though like comes to find out her and Adrian were pretty close, I think. So
The like in riding off of that answer, like you play the idol for McGingo. The votes were supposed to be on you. This is also one of those fun little crazy tribal councils where the votes are supposed to be on you. McGingo, like the votes switch to McGingo at tribal council,
mm,
and you guys end up going for Brooklyn, who at that time felt like kind of very much like on an island of a player. Like why? I guess why did you select Brooklyn? Why didn't you maybe swing bigger, like for an Allie or for a Sam, like somebody
yeah.
that you knew, or I don't know if you knew at the time, but somebody that might have stirred the pot a little bit more.
I actually so okay, that whole like tribal, for some reason, I knew in the back of my mind that it wasn't going to be me. Like, I don't know when I picked up on that, but I knew like I did not need to play the idol for myself. And I don't really remember why. Maybe there was like some conversation where they told me like McGingo for sure, but I felt like watching it back, I was pretty left out of that. I don't know, like I don't know how I knew, but like I knew 100% certain that if I played it for McGingo, we would get our vote. Like I just knew that.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. I don't know how. I can't remember. But so I was 1,000% confident that whoever McGingo and I were gonna vote for would get out. And I don't know why exactly I chose Brooklyn. I think it was because I knew a little bit. I had like an inkling that maybe Boy Sam, and I like had some type of we would talk, and like he could probably be like helpful eventually. Um I don't know. I don't think I knew how strong those other players on the team were like together. I
Okay.
don't know. But yeah, that's kind of it. And I think Sam, probably we kept him for just challenge wise.
Yeah.
Like he was more of an asset for the team.
Yeah. I mean, you have that power play, epic move, playing an idol for somebody else, that really shocks the game, shocks the audience. I remember,
Mhm.
at our watch party here, people were blown away that you didn't play it for yourself, and then you were right.
Yeah, that
So
was
that
so
was
good.
that was great. But then the next round is when the jury starts, and Hannah comes back to your tribe, and then you get left out of that vote. You get your vote stolen by Allie, and they end up sending Magingo home.
Yeah.
That, I haven't had my conversation with Hannah yet, but that was really a vote driven by her, basically choosing that alliance for the time being and going with that. I guess, where was your head at in the game after that vote?
In the game, I don't, again, I think I just thought, I didn't think too much of it, but I was like, "Oh crap, like I'm on my own now." And so I never really felt like I was ever going to be fully next because I could kind of like talk my way out of a few things. But yeah, I definitely had that feeling of, "Oh, it's just me. Like here I am." And that was kind of scary, but I never really felt like, "Oh, well, this is my end." Like I knew there was like we could get out of it. Um, but watching it back, I was like, Hannah, like she really just went back to like I felt like what was safe for her and like didn't make like, I mean, that was a pretty big move, but yeah, I feel like her and I could have like worked together to do something like a little bigger. Did I propose anything different during that time? I can't remember.
It was basically going to be, you guys were going to go for Boy Sam, and I think she was
Mm,
going for, or the other group was going for Magingo,
mm,
or I think it was you or Magingo, and Hannah
probably.
basically was like going for Magingo, which we discussed on the podcast when it came out. I felt it was really, like, it was a safe vote, but it really gave her a lot of agency in the
Mm,
merge of like, hey, like we kept your sister in, Tyler, like, did
mhm.
the business in, we got rid of who you think is like a big adversary to you, like,
Yeah, true.
and then, like, I mean, they immediately, get him out. So I feel like that gave her a lot of pull in terms of like being able to maneuver the game, and her reasoning behind it. Like, I don't think she was very close with Magingo, and Magingo is
Yeah.
a very strong player. And like I think she even has a confessional of like, I think Zoe will get it. Like, I think we can still play together. So I guess, yeah, like we end up merging, and this is your first merge. This is, I mean, everybody else's first merge. Like,
Wait, can you see me?
yeah, I can see you.
Okay, something happened with my thing and I can't see you anymore.
Okay. Do you want to
What
try
if
it?
I wait, what if I refresh it? Will that like ruin it? No.
Try it. We can do some technical difficulties. We are going to pause the podcast for some technical difficulties and figure it out. All right, you good?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're
I have
good.
a time limit on my computer that tells me at 8 o'clock to get off my screen time.
Oh, nice. I mean, that's very responsible of you, Zoe.
Of course, of course.
So yeah, I mean, right where we were at, you get your vote stolen. Magingo gets her torch snuffed. The jury has started, and we are merged. Your first merge. The games, a lot of people, well, everybody in the game's first merge too. But what was that like for you making the merge, and especially after that last round?
I was, well, besides the fact that I really felt like my true like best alliance was gone and I was like really on my own, like I was feeling really stressed about that, but I was so excited to be merged. Like that was the milestone that I wanted to meet going into it. That was like my biggest goal. And I was like, yes, I like made it to the merge. Like the merge is such an interesting feeling because it's like pretty individual at that point. Like you still have to have your alliances, but like it feels like you don't have to always think greater good when making decisions for like voting people out. So I was so excited.
Yeah, I feel like you really came in as a free agent, and like I feel
Uh-huh.
like a couple people came into that merge. I mean, you're either part of Tyler's Mafia or you're part of the like Luke Resistance. Going
Uh-huh.
merge, and so um, yeah, I guess coming in, like, did you see like where the tides were going, like of like who you might want to start having conversations with, who like you should start targeting? I mean, you give a confessional of like pretty right after the merge feast or during the merge feast that you want to maybe go for a big player, and Tyler is that name, which is something we don't really see happen at the merge. People might play that first merge round safe.
Hmm.
What is that what was that strategy entering the merge, and yeah, who did you want to work with?
Yeah, that was like my only thought was to just start clocking off the big players, but try to do it like subtly, like just drop little hints. Um, I didn't want to be like leading anything, but I felt like at that point I had made some pretty decent moves and put my neck out there quite often where I could have been one of those big players that people wanted to get out.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like get ahead of that and I was scared to play with Tyler. Um, and yeah, I think John was another one that I was pretty afraid to play with. Um, yeah, there was a few that I was like, "Oh, these people know what they're doing and they're not afraid to just knock out the people that they want to knock out." So,
Yeah. What so you win immunity. You win your first not your first your first merge immunity. You've won a
uh-huh.
couple during the pre-merge. So you won one pre-merge or one merge immunity, and you immediately like get that necklace. You go back to camp and you're like, yeah, I'm safe. I'm stirring this vote up, and like you go to work. So
Yeah.
describe for us, you know, how you felt that merge vote went. There was a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people that were part of this anti-Tyler resistance
Yeah.
of and then ultimately blindsided him, like hands down with that play. You were doing a lot of legwork. Aubrey was doing a lot of legwork. I
Mhm.
mean, John brought a freaking cannon to a sword fight. Like he he comes in, with a weapon of an advantage. So yeah, describe that merge vote for us.
So I did not know about that like advantage
Mhm.
at all. But I did know that there was a lot of people who were anti-Tyler. So dropping little like hints and just talking to people, I was like, oh, there's people that are going to be down for this. So this is kind of like a now or never situation because I think if Tyler would have caught wind that like his name was out there and it went another round, like it could have gotten messy.
Mhm.
But yeah,
How was that tribal? Did you expect that thing to come out and for everybody to be safe? And then,
the six chain situation.
the safety check.
Um, I okay. I going into it and watching it back, like I okay, actually being there, I didn't feel left out because I thought that they were doing this like on the spot thing. Like I had no idea that it was out there, so I didn't think that they had been like talking about it and like building their like group of 6 already pre-tribal. So there I was like, "Oh, those are the people I was talking with. Like, maybe I'm going to be next on the chain. Like, I had a feeling that I was with them the whole time. I was like, if there was a seventh, it'd probably be me.
Yeah.
But I had immunity, or no, I was like, I already have immunity. So I would be, I just thought like I would have been in it. But they didn't talk to me about it at all. And maybe it was because I had immunity. I don't know. But I felt like that group was people that I had been talking to and kind of like scheming with.
Mhm.
So I didn't feel like super left out, but watching it back, I was like, oh, they really schemed that up like behind my back. So
They told you the next day, like if you didn't have immunity, you would have been in there.
yeah,
Do you believe that?
I think I do, because in the moment I was like, this is my alliance doing their alliance thing, and like I was down for it as I was like figuring it out on the spot.
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope so. Those are the people that tribal I was talking to the most and like,
Yeah.
scheming with.
So that closes us out for day 2.
Mhm.
Tyler gets voted out. Fedora's on the seat. Like he's done. Allie's out there crying. Hannah has some cheers that she's shedding. But I remember you told me that you were already cooking up a final tribal speech. So heading into day 3, where is your head at? What are you thinking?
So yeah, that night when we were all sitting around in our sleeping bags in the around like in a circle, I was like on my phone in my notes app typing up like all the things that I had accomplished, like all of the like lies that like went through and whatever. Like I was thinking that I was playing really good game, and I had been even though my name was thrown out there, like I had been on the right side of the vote and like in the correct group every single time. So I always knew like what was going to happen. Um and I pretty sure my like voting accuracy was pretty high. I don't know. But for the most part I always felt like I knew what was going on. And so at that time too, I thought that I was leading a lot of the votes, or
Mhm.
at least planting like the initial seed of who was going to be voted out. Watching it back, I think a lot of people had the same thought process as me. So I wasn't like the one initiating a lot of it.
Yeah.
Um, I think Aubrey and I were always on like, we always had the same like person that we were like thinking of. We just may have like gone about it in different ways, but like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that
guess.
and the immunity that I had won, like I had done pretty good in challenges. Not to like toot my
Yeah,
own horn,
you.
but
So
like I worked hard in the challenges. I had pretty good moves. Like I was building a pretty good story for like if I were to have made it to the final 3.
I completely agree. So to give you, I have my stat sheet. Believe it or not, I have
Okay.
my whole Excel sheet, and
Mhm.
your voting accuracy is pretty high. I don't have I can't quick math it right now, but the only vote that you got wrong was Josie vote at
Mm,
this tribal council, and then
mhm.
Maginga's you had your vote stolen, so you didn't vote, and then you got Aubrey at your own vote out. So
Yeah.
2 times during the whole season, you did not have the right vote, but
Mhm.
I
That
think that's
makes
an
sense.
impressive stat. And then even for immunity wins, you have a career total of 4, and then in a single season, you have 3. You are the highest ranking girl for a single season with
Oh,
3,
wow.
and you are also the highest girl for career immunity wins. So
Wow. So
yeah,
smart.
so some big titles. I really am working in my Canva to find like a way where I can like dump all these stats and be
Yeah.
like here's an update. But um,
Yeah, no, I was so proud of my challenge game. I did not think I would I did not think I would win any immunity, but like once I started to, I was like, dang, this gives you so much power when you know you're not going to be voted out.
yeah, yeah, I feel like you utilized it very well. You were able to, like, particularly speaking about the merge vote, like you um felt like you could just go for broke and go for Tyler. Like, what's he
Mhm.
gonna do? Like, turn around and point the gun at you? And then we see again at the final 8 where you guys still go for Allie, but that's when you start having those conversations with Allie and Carrie of like, hey, like we need to flip on this safety group at some point. So I mean, we definitely saw that that kind of workout for you during that vote. So I mean, very big kudos on utilizing those immunity wins. It's very easy to win and sit back and let the vote happen, but you were active. So speaking about like heading into day 3, we have some very easy tribal councils with Sam and Allie. You guys are picking them off, like the people outside of the safety chain. Carrie is next, but you start seeing her, I feel like for the first time, somebody in the game is seeing Carrie as valuable to their game. Like, what did you tell us about that? Tell us like what you saw with Carrie's game that you started picking up on, that like she would be a great ally to have.
Yeah, her and I would talk and like just talk through like really good ideas, honestly. Like we had some good like theories going and ideas, and we both were just kind of like not in a strong alliance really. Like I thought I was pretty close with Luke. Like I would talk to other people. Like there were people that I thought I was closer to than turns out I actually was. But with Carrie, I was like, you and I are like, we could really be on the same page. So us as like a 2-person, I kind of use that as like I would talk to them. I'd be like, well, I could get Carrie to like vote with us. Like her and I are on the same page. Because I don't know if she was doing a lot of those conversations for herself. I think she was, but like
trying to, and nobody was really giving her the time of day to add her to their game.
Right. I think she was just like kind of on her own, but I felt like her and I were on the same page. So we really were like 2 votes that could go towards the way that we wanted it to, which is kind of how it worked out, which was.
I think she was crucial to the run that you had. I mean, I had that conversation with Carrie on her podcast of like, she felt like she had nobody was working with her. And I think she was the missing piece to somebody's end game. And I think you found her, like if John picked her up, like I feel like we might have a little flip situation of John, being where you're at, because in that following round after Allie goes home, you end up pulling those numbers to go against John, which was a pretty big play, because I mean, John, we see how great of a social player he is, as well as a strategic player, but socially, like he's insanely charismatic, can carry a conversation, can execute a plan, all while pulling strings, and we're able to flip that on him. So I mean, it might not have just been you, but like you were the other name. So talk us through that. That John or Zoe.
There was a few times where I was like, it's either me or someone else. Like it was always like Zoe or like a big player. And I think having like, I don't know if it was just like how I kind of went about things, like a little bit quieter. I was able to really like let other people be like big personalities to like then be like, oh, this is actually kind of scary. How quickly people just like flipped on each other, where I feel like I would just subtly like drop names rather than like make this big rally against people. Or it was like Aubrey was doing a lot of like the talking, and I don't know. Yeah, like I don't feel like I was ever like the one to just like rally all these people and like make this big plan and be like leading them, which might have helped when it was like between me and some other person. Because I think all of our like minds were just like get the big players out.
Yeah. I mean, you were able to avoid it for quite a bit. So I mean, and yeah, you definitely were the target of the other target of every round from Allie on. Once Carrie gave up her crown of being the other vote to you.
I know, seriously.
So heading into the finale, we have our final 6. Like you guys just got John out, and this is kind of where our finale picks up. So there's you, Hannah, Luke, Aubrey, Eli, and Carrie. And so we've already talked about your relationship with Carrie. We've already talked about, where you're kind of at with Hannah. I guess the relationships we really haven't talked about yet are Eli and Aubrey. How was playing the game with them? We can start with Eli. What was your relationship like with him going into this end game?
Yeah, I don't remember spending a whole lot of time like strategizing with Eli. I really enjoyed playing with him. He's just like a fun guy, but I think our conversations mostly were just like a check-in. It was like, "Oh, we're doing this. Like this is what everyone's hearing. Okay, cool." We just kind of like floated in the same direction for the most part. Which, made it a little bit easier to like want to get him out because he also was standing out as a strong towards like that time everyone was a really strong player, but he really was one that was like very strategic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we never really made like big decisions together, but we're for the most part we were always on the same page, I think.
Okay. How about Aubrey?
Aubrey, I think the same. Like initially, her and I would go and talk to each other. Like I think her and I would bounce an initial idea off of each other. Um, I found out later she was having other conversations about other ideas as well. But for the most part, like we would kind of come up with something, maybe come up with like a decoy vote name that we would tell people, and then kind of go about our ways, do our things to like rally the votes, and then we would end up voting with each other for the most part. I didn't realize that her and Luke were as close as they were ever. I like did not ever suspect that. I kind of thought we were all three like equally close, so I felt like I understood their relationship more than I did, and I underestimated it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, heading into the final six, like that is when Aubrey wants to make her move against Hannah. She wants to, she's been kind of talking about it all season about, Hannah's her number one, but she feels like she needs to, get her out because their games are too similar, which very fair. I've yet to talk to Aubrey, but probably one of the biggest moves that might have been on her resume for that.
Yeah.
Hannah is sus. Like she is on the money with her, and Luke are, kind of shafting her, and she's trying to, put out feelers about that. And there's like one conversation that as I'm editing it, obviously I don't have any favorites with how things go, but like or who wins and stuff. Like I'm very objective from the host position, want to see all my friends succeed. But like you and Hannah are having this conversation of like, so Hannah's like, I think Aubrey and Luke are really close. And you're like, really? Like, I thought you and Aubrey were close. And Hannah lays everything out. And I'm just like, if you two just like work together, like at that time, like you two would have been able, like, I feel like a hypothetical, like, Hannah and you are probably the most even finalists that you could probably take to the end. Like Hannah is a returning player, played a very different game. You're a returning player, played a very different game. Like, unless you want to like sweep the jury, like of votes, like that might have been your end game path. And that's just me talking from my, Survivor nerd brain.
Yeah.
Like what was Hannah to you at that point, and why was she not an option why was working with her not an option at that point?
That might have been because of my initial conversation with Aubrey. I think her and I did talk pretty early on, like right before, like she was one of my like first conversations almost every time. I think that's where I would get my feelers out for like what people are thinking. And so I think her like initial conversation with that might have been like, oh, this just is where it's gonna go. And I feel like, unfortunately, like you kind of just have to go with the group at that point. I don't know. That might have been my move. There's a few times where I was like, oh, I could have just totally picked someone up and like flipped on a certain person, but yeah, looking back, that would have been a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's all hindsight 2020, but
Yeah.
I mean, Luke, to give him a lot of credit, like he really downplayed that Aubrey relationship.
Yeah, he
Um,
did.
and I think Aubrey played a phenomenal game. Like
Mhm.
Aubrey, it's really hard to describe Aubrey's game. Like you just kind of have to show it. Like she just
Yeah.
was involved in all the conversations, directed conversations. Like, yeah, I do think like that you and Aubrey were very even of finding out like where we want to go with the vote or what, the best strategic move would be
Mhm.
and going towards that. Like you both would spread that information, then like figure out like what to do. So whether or
Yeah.
not you were working together, like shake hands, like we're an alliance, like I feel like you more collaborated pretty solidly together.
I would say that is what our relationship was. We never were like, it's you and I all the way, because I think we had our own, huh?
Like a business like a business
Yeah. We
relationship.
had our own little like groups of people that we like would vote with us, but we would kind of get on the same page and like figure out like what's a good move. So I think that's why like with the Hannah vote, Aubrey was pretty set on that, and yeah, that's not really one that you want to go against.
And I
So.
mean, like to be fair too, like Aubrey fed Hannah like in the other group your name, so it's like, what do you do? Like
I
you
know.
Zoe do if like, oh well, Hannah's down to vote me, like
It's either one or it's like always someone or me. So it's like,
yeah.
you
So
know.
I mean, that's the only thing that I'm like, that's what probably could have given you a clearer path to the end.
Mhm.
Try to make that path the following round by making that final three with Luke and Carrie. What
Mhm.
was going through your head behind that final three?
I felt like Carrie and I was like, oh, we are a team and we have been working together and like everything. And then I felt like my second closest person, or no, you know what I thought? Luke and I weren't super close, but whenever we would talk, he would always just agree with me. And and that was like so good on his part because I truly had no idea he knew like what was going on. And when we would talk, he wouldn't ever like super strategize with me, but I would like be doing most of the talking and he would just be like, "Yeah, like that's a great idea. Let's do that." And kind of just be like a yes man to me. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. Like I have two people and they kind of just like are in agreement with me and don't seem to be making huge waves. I really underestimated like how Luke was playing and his relationship with Aubrey. If I would have known that, I definitely would have done probably made a 3 team a little bit earlier on. But I thought I was a lot closer with Luke than he was with Aubrey at that during the game.
I mean,
So
yeah, you played the whole game with Luke. Like
yeah,
Luke was by your side, whether you were directly working with him. And Luke also, I mean, on our podcast, like he had some misinformation too. Like he thought that you, like Sam voted with him at the Josh vote, and that you stuck with Hannah.
that's yeah,
There was some stuff that was just going around that like I don't think he fully invested in those relationships. I
yeah.
think, I mean, obviously it works out for Luke, like Luke wins, but I
Mhm.
also think he might have had a better, like easier path to the end if he like trusted you and trusted Hannah a little bit more. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it works out for Luke, so I you
I
can't really,
think he was very early on suspicious of me, like like early days.
yeah,
And that kind of like stuck with him where he was like, "Oh, she's probably being deceitful." I think
yeah.
a few times I don't think he like fully believed me, but like we would collaborate and we would like be he really made me feel like it was him and I
Yeah,
doing a lot of the work.
that's the vibe that you get when you're editing Luke. I mean, Luke was, and he says like I didn't say much in any conversation. Like it looks
Yeah.
like I'm not leading the votes, but in his confessionals, he's like, yeah, I want to vote this person out because of this. One of my favorite Luke, you know, I don't know, mannerisms is like, yes, he says like, yeah, that's a good idea, but when you like pitch something to him and he goes, oh, I didn't even think of that. And it's like, Luke's like, yeah, I did think of that, in his
that is literally why, like, that is why I wanted him. So, like, I thought he would just like do whatever I said.
Yeah.
And I was like, this would be easy.
Mhm.
But yeah.
So yeah, you guys, I mean, pretty handily take Eli out. He burns his idol early on, which again, we need to talk to Eli about that. But yeah, we get to the final four, which is your final reckoning of losing that immunity challenge. Carrie wins, and it's down between you and Aubrey. I mean, we've talked about, underestimating Luke. Watching it back, do you think that, you should have targeted Luke or that you should have targeted Aubrey?
Yeah, I think we should have girl ganged against Luke. That seems like such an obvious thing to do watching it back. And I think like the first thing they said to me when I got on the jury was like, why didn't you get Luke out? Like, what? And yeah, just like in the game, I truly just gave it up to like, oh, it's me or Aubrey. And I was like, I really thought like our 3-group alliance that I had brought up before was going to save me.
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh, like, I really thought it was going to be like Carrie with me and then Luke having to choose Aubrey or me. And at the time, I was confident that he was going to choose to be with me. Just like alliance wise, strategically, like it was really smart to get me out.
I mean, yeah, Zoe, you were the runaway winner there. We're sitting here and one of our friends was like, Carrie's like, oh, I can't decide between Zoe. Like, Zoe's my ally. And one of our friends is like, she's going to win. Like,
I know.
Game. Like, what are we deciding between right
now?
No,
I know. I should have like played down something else and been like, and really played up Aubrey's game. Like, I just really like put my hands up and I was like, it's between me and Aubrey. Like, my alliance has to choose me. Like, I really just like put it in their hands, and I don't know why I did that.
I think you did everything that you could at that point. Like, I mean, we're closing out on day 3, and in the bubble that you're in, like you and Aubrey very much had decided, like, I mean, we've talked about this, like you and Aubrey really had those first initial conversations. So like you are aware that she's making the moves that you are. Like you guys are on very even playing field. Luke has been so secretive about the game that he's playing and puts on a great front of being, physical. And like, I mean, Carrie, the work that Carrie has to do to pitch to the jury, like why her game, her underdog game is just such a massive feat. Like, I mean, being viewed on the jury is kind of like, I don't want to say non-entity, but like that's how she was treated throughout the season.
Yeah.
Like, people really used her as that extra vote. But I think Carrie, had a very marketable game in that moment. So I don't think
and she won immunity when it mattered. Yeah. And that was something I wanted so bad.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were rooting for you in that immunity challenge, but a lot of fans, we're so happy to see Carrie finally get a win.
Yeah, she earned that, and that's awesome.
So you get your torch snuffed. I think you found your redemption, like, and then some. Definitely made your mark on the franchise, but you go over to the jury. What is that turnaround for you? So now you're on the jury. Like, what conversations are you having with them? Are they asking you questions? Like, what is, like, we have it on camera on Ponderosa, but again, our editor is taking forever to edit that. So,
that editor.
Yeah. So what was that like, getting out of the game, and what was your perception of the jury?
So yeah, it was sad to be snuffed. But the second I got there, they were like, oh my gosh, like they were, I think the reason why I got so emotional so fast, because they were like hyping me up, and then they were telling me like all these things like that they were thinking, like all their theories, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what? Basically they were the ones that said you guys should have gotten Luke out. Like, imagine if you got Luke out. Like, you guys could have all banded against Luke. And then I was like having this like wave of regret. I was like, crap, we should have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it hit me as like very emotional when I got over there. I think I like cried almost immediately when they gave me a shot of water. That was another thing. They were taking water shots this whole time. I thought they were like all wasted.
Yeah. I remember our hug after, and you cried, and I was like, I'm so proud of you. It was a really
moment.
So
yeah.
What was your reaction to that, I guess, knowing that they like Luke was a heavy favorite on the jury, like after targeting Aubrey, like what was your reaction to hearing Luke have a lot of supporters?
I was really shocked. Like I just did not. Luke was very good at hiding what he was doing and his strategy, and he really had me fooled. So I was like, oh my gosh, like he really I was pretty mad at him, honestly, when I got out. I was like, dang, like he played me basically the entire time, and he wasn't really my ally. I think the jury started telling me like all these things, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought. And then I felt really played.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I like during like the final vote, I voted for Aubrey, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I think I like said, if I didn't say it out loud, I was like thinking it. I was like, I promised I would never write your name, and I'm still not going to write your name, Luke. So I voted for Aubrey.
You said in your vote, this also didn't make the edit, but you were like, I just feel really bad for Carrie, like in your voting thing. So
I know. I like also would have voted for Carrie. Like I 100% wanted her to win, but I knew like I needed my vote to count against Luke because I had such bad blood towards Luke that I didn't want him to win. So I had to put my vote to where someone who would get more, which is Aubrey, but Luke ended up winning and he deserved to. So
yeah. Do you think that, like, watching everything back, do you think that vote for Aubrey is like still a bitter vote, or is that like, do you think your vote for Aubrey is justified?
Oh, watching it back, definitely justified. She played a great game. And in the moment, I was really seeing red against Luke, and I just didn't want him to win. But Aubrey, I think her game was very similar to mine too, and how we strategize. And I think that very justified. I'm glad I gave my vote to her.
So when we look at the jury, like you, Hannah, and Eli all voted for Aubrey. Everybody else voted for Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what, in your opinion, is a reason why the people voted out closest to the final three voted for Aubrey, and why did the majority of the jury at the front end of the jury vote for Luke?
You know what? That's a great question. I think a lot of them played with Luke at the very beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
A handful of them. So I think he might have just had that initial connection with them. Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, it was pretty clear that Aubrey led a lot of the big players out at certain times. So they probably felt a type of way towards her.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. I don't know.
Okay. Just a question. I mean, it's always
I never really thought about it, but
the layout of that. I mean, I agree. Aubrey, she won from the cast. You guys voted her in those alumni awards, the bloodiest hands after the season. So, I mean, she definitely put a lot of nails in people's coffins.
Yeah, I think she was perceived to be the one who was leading a lot of that. It's because she was. So
we've talked a lot. Like when I talked with Luke, like it's also very visually, appealing to show up to tribal council with immunity necklace. So like, no matter where you're at in the game, like you're showing up and showing that you've done something that round. No matter what moves you make behind the scenes, so I feel like that also might contribute to how the jury perceives people. So
that's actually 100% true too. He had a more rounded game for sure. He was phenomenal in a lot of the challenges. So that, and I'm pretty sure he like played that up during his
Yeah.
speech too. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to our finale. I mean, we definitely ran through everything. I guess what now that the season's done, what was your like the biggest takeaway from it? What was your like after watching it back, like where's Zoe at in terms of Survivor? You know, like what's your thoughts?
I just still am so happy that I played, and it was just an incredibly fun time. And I went in there with a goal of like getting to, certain points, and I succeeded far more than I thought that I would. So just like proving to myself that I can really like do things when I try to work hard at them.
Yeah.
So I still play it up anytime like I'm in conversations with anybody and Survivor happens to come up. I'm like, did you guys know that I played Survivor? And everyone's like, no. I'm like, yes, I did. And I play them the trailer of
Nice.
your show. Like I love it and I'm proud of it and I think it's fun. So
I'm proud of you. It was a great like I mean how far we've come from like the backyard. I remember the first time you did it like in the backyard drinking Survivor, you were just like I don't really I'm
yeah.
tracking it and like like it was like,
I Oh my gosh, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, this is I think over my head. I don't think I know what I got myself into.
like it's really cool to be able to see how we've come like far we've come like not even just as like players but also as like people like I Zoe you and I go back to college so it's like it's being able to see our relationship grow and be able to come back to something and share in that like you know it's so special I feel like
Yeah.
so that's my one of my big takeaways. That's always my takeaways when we do this.
Yeah.
Don't know if we'll do it again just because of the commitment that it takes. But if we were Zoe, would you come back for the last and final season?
Yeah. 1,000%.
Okay.
Say the word and I'll do it. It's so fun.
What I've been asking everybody this, Luke and Carrie. I don't want to put any receipts out there, but if you were to come back, like what would we be able to expect from Zoe 3.0?
Oh my gosh. I think coming back, if I came back for a third season, I would be terrified of just having a target on my back even more than I did before. Last time I could play it up pretty well as like, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I would have to come in with a brand new strategy. I don't know. I actually have no idea.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, don't leave a paper trail. So
Yeah, it'll be a surprise for us all.
okay, other just wrap up questions like who from the cast do you think, played like impressed you on the rewatch like of the season? Watching everything come play out, like who on the cast, really impressed you with how they played?
Oh my gosh. Like basically everybody. I think Luke for one, I I had a whole different view of how he was playing than what he really did that I got to see watching it back. I'm like, he deserved that win more than I thought. Like he did a great job throughout the whole thing. He was like on point with a lot of his like the way he was thinking. Um and also I'm gonna say, well, there's like so many people, but also like Josh, I thought was like, I also kind of misunderstood his game. Like, I thought he was being this like conniving, sneaky guy, but watching it back, it seemed like he played a lot more like emotionally than he did like super strategically. And so I was like, wow, I could have like worked with him in a different way, probably, but yeah,
It's all hindsight 2020.
I
It is
know.
such a unique thing. I've said it multiple times on the podcast because you get like it's basically like off-brand Survivor gameplay. Like, like you have some fans that have, like yourself, that have watched Survivor before. Like, like you coming in know how Fresh Meat went. Like, you've watched Fresh Meat, you know how that goes. You've done your research. You've watched some real shows, understand like strategy and stuff. And then you have like other people that have only watched Fresh Meat, which is an off-brand Survivor. So then they're playing off-brand
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like this layer of trying to figure out how the gameplay works. But I also think that's what's special about our Survivor, and at least like the experiences. Everybody's there for fun. Everybody brings something to the table in terms of like the game and the watch back experience. I do my best to make sure everybody gets some spotlight on them. You this season had the spotlight on you quite a bit. Like that's what we want to see. Somebody that comes in and does plays each round how it is. And
Yeah.
I think when I'm on the phone with my mom and she's like, Zoe just keeps getting by, like she is killing it, like, and my mom's complimenting your game, like there's a like, yes, like they are
so funny.
It brings some sort of like realism to the situation, like oh, that validates our show, that validates the game, like
that's awesome.
So final thing, we've been talking for quite a bit. I think this is our longest podcast yet, but again, so much to dive into on your game, Zoe. So we have our cast word association as a little bit of a new thing that we've been doing with our finalists, just because we're not doing like points and stuff. So you guys are able to give us your thoughts on the cast. So I'll list out everybody one by one.
Okay.
It's alphabetically. So Adrian will be first. Heads up. I'm not throwing that off at you right off the bat, but but let us know your thoughts on their game, of them as players, of them as, whatever your relation to them in the game was. You can give a little thought process of it, why you arrive at that, or, if you got nothing to say, you can just, let it rip. Sound good?
Okay, yeah. I'll do my best. I'm not the best with words.
It's okay. We're also working out the kinks. Both Carrie and Luke were like, can I say like strategic again? Like, can I use the same word again? Like, so this is off the dome. Like, we're trying to just, give you guys something fun and light to do to end our Survivor chapter here. So first person, Adrian.
Okay, so I think of one word that I think of when I think of them playing, or just like
in the game, watching them back, just through your thoughts on them. So yeah, just Adrian.
I'm gonna say pure, because it was just someone trying to figure out Survivor as best they could, and he kind of figured it out. He had a pure view of how it went.
And I mean, it looks like from your guys's like adventures since playing, that he's become more of an outdoorsman.
Actually, yes, he has.
So
we camp.
Yeah, not to take credit, not out in the backyard, not in the middle of a storm, but
he hated that, actually.
I bet.
And now I have them in camping, so that was his step one into being outdoorsy.
Well, pure Adrian. There we go.
Adrian.
All right, how about Allie?
I will say, okay, this is like 2 words, but like I'm just gonna say little sister.
Okay.
I just think of her as Tyler's little sister, and she ended up being like all of our little sisters, the way we like hung out with her and stuff. Yeah.
That's fair. How about Aubrey?
Oh, I would say I'm trying to think of a word that's like not strategic, but like brainy. Like I would say like thought, like smart.
Okay.
That's like too basic.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll just keep that.
How about Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, I will say athletic.
Okay. And then Chase.
Oh, Chase. I would say potential.
Okay, solid. Eli?
Eli. Hmm. I'm gonna say strategic. I need a better word for that, but like he was thinking the whole time. Strategy, strategy.
Yeah. How about Grace?
See, I never played with her. I'm gonna say friend.
Okay. Hannah.
Hannah. I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say ally.
Okay. James, another one you might not have played with a
Yeah,
lot.
I didn't really play with him. Well, we were on that initial one together.
You guys were on the at the joint tribal council. I think that's the only
Yeah.
time you might have played with James.
Yeah, wait, that's true. I didn't play with him at all. I'm just gonna say tribal.
Okay.
All I think about when I think of him playing, honestly.
John.
Oh, John, I'm gonna say sneaky.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Josh.
Josh, I will say, I'll say loyal.
Okay. Josie.
Oh man, Josie. I'm gonna say story.
Story.
It's
Okay.
not like a descriptive word, but like her story defined her, I felt like. Or
Mhm.
her like story of exile defined how she played. And I'm like, that was her downfall when she came back and told us her story of exile.
Yeah. How about somebody else that was defined by Josie's story? Carrie.
Carrie. Okay. I said Hannah was an ally, but okay, wait. I'm gonna say teamwork for
Okay.
Carrie. Even though I really want to say exile, because when I think about Carrie's story, like she was on exile a lot, but like, yeah, I'm gonna say teammate, maybe.
How about Luke?
I also want to say sneaky for Luke. I'm gonna say like synonym for sneaky, but like maybe secretive. That's the word.
Okay. Magingo.
Oh, Magingo. I'm gonna say, well, crap. I feel like I've used the same word that I would say for her too.
You can
I'll
use them
say,
again.
yeah, I'm just gonna say ally again.
Okay. Sam Jakubowski. Boy Sam.
Boy, Sam. Ugh, I still feel bad about like, I don't know. I feel like I lied to him a lot. I'm gonna say strong. He was good at challenges.
Okay. Samantha. Girl Sam.
I'm gonna say. How many times have I said I'm gonna say?
I haven't counted.
Okay, probably every time. Samantha, I was probably, I don't know, quiet. I didn't
Okay.
talk to her a lot.
And then finally, Tyler.
Tornado.
Tornado. All right. Tornado Tyler. Okay. Well, that's everything that we have
Yeah.
in terms of word association.
Okay.
I typically would end the podcast, but I do want to dive into one because it was kind of interesting. You said sneaky for John, and we didn't really talk a lot about your relationship with John because John, I feel like, is viewed very heroically, maybe just from the edit, from like some of the votes that we've seen, people come in. And I mean, John did play like a sneaky game in terms of, building his allyship with Luke and building, that safety chain and turning on his alliance and stuff. So it's interesting that you clock that. Like, what is what was your relationship like with John? And is that like a bad blood sneaky, or is that like a, like real, like game recognizes game here sneaky?
Oh, I recognize his game. He was sneaky the whole time in such a good way, though. Like, I love John. I even love like catching up with him outside of the game now. Like, we've hung out a few times too. But in the game, like the whole thing with him and Luke going to exile, and like he didn't know Luke a ton, but he used his partnership very well. And I don't know if people really like picked up on that. I definitely did. I was like, that's how you use exile, and that's how you use your partnership. And also when he had to switch tribes, like looking back at that time, he just like fit right into our tribe. He was being so charismatic, like a friend to everyone, but he was like picking up on our like tea, and he was using some of the knowledge that he knew from before, but like keeping it to himself. Like he used information to his benefit. And yeah, I was always afraid to play with him. I knew like at any moment he could flip on me.
Nice. Well, you
But
came
mad respect for his game.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, Zoe, this was so much fun. We're going almost at 2 hours. I mean, time flies when you're having fun. It was so good to catch up with you and talk about the game. I know, we have endless conversations about it when we do get to see each other. So finally, nice to be able to have the platform to chat. So before we hop off, this is your final Bad Blood, send off. I guess anything you want to leave the fans with for your experience on Bad Blood, and before we hop off.
I'm just gonna say thank you to everyone who was so proud of me, because I was proud of myself. Like, people really saw potential in what I was doing, and I just like love to see that. And you know what? I would have won if it wasn't for the sneaky snakes. That's for sure.
All right, Zoe, it's been a blast. Like I said, for those tuning in, appreciate you, making it this far. First of all, it was a awesome day today, chatting about Survivor. We still have 3 other of our final 6 to do. Supposedly right now we have Aubrey tomorrow, time still TBD. And then we also have Hannah and Eli that we're working on scheduling. So just stay tuned for those. Zoe, it's been awesome being able to go on this journey with you. I've had so much fun, and so great to be able to see you develop as a player, but also as a person. So appreciate our time. And yes, for those tuning in, good night. You guys can head back to camp. And Zoe, I'll see you soon. Maybe wedding stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.